I'm Anna Kertesz, and this is How to Live It. I'm here with Benis Reffkin. Welcome. And we're going to talk today about how being an entrepreneur is not about who you are. It's about what you do. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Benis Reffkin is an incredible life executive and career coach, but she also is a very experienced worker who's worked in the corporate environment but has worked very closely with her husband as a sounding board and advisor. And we want to demystify the belief that there are common traits that entrepreneurs and people have to be successful as an entrepreneur, because I do very strongly believe that anyone can do what they want and create the business and the life that makes sense to you and to all of us. And I invited Benis over to talk about values and traits and sort of demystify this common belief that you have to have certain values to be a successful entrepreneur. So let's get started.
Thank you. I thought it would be great to share a little bit about the Compass principles of entrepreneurship, which my husband, a CEO of Compass, unveiled a couple of years ago, really as a values for the company. But I was incredibly inspired just working with him on really fine-tuning these principles because they're applicable to anybody. I see it as like an entrepreneurship's Bible. And so there are 8 principles. And we strongly feel that if you focus just on doing these things and not worrying so much about who you are, that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. The first principle of entrepreneurship is dream big. And so that's really about really letting yourself go there. I think that we all sometimes fear having big dreams because if they don't happen, then somehow we're let down. There's some sort of disappointment. But you really have to let yourself imagine a future where anything that you could possibly want is possible and has happened. And so I think that all entrepreneurs allow themselves to dream big and see a vision for themselves that's greater than what they have now. The second is move fast. Move fast is a tricky one because you don't always need to move fast. But if you have a dream, moving fast is really important to just get started. Just do something. It could be small, but something that moves you towards that dream. And the reason you want to move fast is because it then takes you to principle number 3, which is learn from reality. Learn from reality to me is maybe the most important one, because we all kind of get stuck in our own minds and our own kind of cerebral frontal cortex where we're thinking, and trying so hard to figure out how to make this all happen. But really, if you just start doing it, and you can learn what's working, what's not. You learn from your customers. You learn from just trying it out. And it's okay if you try and it's a failure. That failure is a learning. You have learned from trying something out. And so learn from reality, again, it's I think what all entrepreneurs do to kind of get closer to their goals. The next one is maximize your strengths. Also very important. What's really behind that is that a lot of people spend time thinking about their weaknesses and what they need to do to improve to be better. And I think something of what you're talking about here about how everyone thinks that to be an entrepreneur you have to have these traits, it's not that. It's that you just need to know what you're good at and focus on that. Do that, great. If it's easy and you can do it all day, great. Keep doing that. Don't take away from the excellence you can achieve in those things that you're great at by focusing on things that don't come natural to you or you just don't enjoy. But the important thing is so that as you grow your team as an entrepreneur, that you're maximizing for your weaknesses with the people that you hire. The next is collaborate without ego. Also really important because I think that when, especially for entrepreneurs who might have a vision and an idea, sometimes their idea and their self gets in the way of the greater good or the greater the common goal shared in the team. And so collaborate about ego is where you just don't care about yourself in the process. Think about what is the goal, what are the results you want to achieve. That's what matters. And if your idea or your thinking on it was wrong and isn't getting you there, it doesn't matter. As long as someone on your team is bringing that to the table. Why do you always have to be right? It doesn't matter who is right, as long as together you're collaborating and getting to the answer. The next one is be solutions driven. also really important. And it's about really energy, which is something I talk a lot about in my coaching. When you're trying to start a company and you're learning from reality, and you're collaborating without ego, you start to see that sometimes you're going to have lots of problems that you're going to be faced with, where things aren't working the way you wanted, or someone might say, we just can't do that. That's not possible. But imagine if everyone on your team comes to you and says, that's not going to work, but I have these 3 other ideas that might get us what we want. And so being solutions driven is just not taking no for an answer. Don't just come to the room and say, no, that can't be done. Just come in and say, okay, not sure that's going to work, but here are some other options. The next one is obsess about opportunity. Mm-hmm. And so obsessing about opportunity is really important, because if you're not, then you're going to miss a lot of opportunity, which sounds obvious. But you should always just be thinking about being open-minded and allowing these opportunities to come your way, and even creating them. You're not going to get to your goals if you're not kind of grasping and taking hold of all the ways that you can make your dreams come true. And the last one is bounce back with passion. That one's really important, because at some point you're just going to fail.
Yeah,
you're going to fall on your face. It's going to be over. And if you let that just be it, and you don't bounce back, then your story ends there. And so bouncing back with passion is like knowing that you've hit rock bottom and mourning that process, and knowing that, okay, like I'm here now and this is really, really hard, but tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get up again. I'm going to get back on my feet, and I'm going to try again. Maybe try something different. Maybe have a new dream. But you don't let the hardships of life that we all have, there's no one in this world that doesn't go through really hard things. Don't let that keep you from continuing on and making the life that you want.
I love the way, these 8 values are incredible. Also because they demystify a lot of the beliefs that people have, that to be an entrepreneur and have success, you have to be aggressive, you have to be an extrovert, you have to be a certain way, and you have to be a risk taker. And I think, what I'm trying to show people is that there is a new way to do entrepreneurship. There's a new holistic way that you can create an incredible business and life that makes sense to you based on your goals and your role models and what, success looks to you. Yes. But you don't have these 8 values are incredible because none of them related to things that people have to be born with. They're all related to things and aspects and traits that anyone here can learn and just take action on, right?
It's all about taking action. And that's the biggest thing. It's how do you take ideas that are stuck here in your head and put them into action. And I think the biggest thing, especially in my work in coaching and what I tell clients, is to start small. Like, when I launched my coaching business, when I had my first client, that's it. I'm a coach. I'm doing it. I only have 1 client, but I'm doing it. And that's all that matters. And I'm learning from doing it. And I didn't have to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on a big website and logo and branding and launching myself. No, I just had to get into the business of doing it. Yeah. So whatever your business is, just find a way to do it, no matter how small of a scale it is. And then you get people inspired around you to scale it up.
It's interesting. One of the common comments that a lot of different types of career changers and entrepreneurs I have spoken with, throughout the years as an advisor, as a banker, as an investor, as a mentor, and now as an entrepreneur myself, is that a lot of us wait until success has happened to then feel like we own the person that we want to become. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people wait, until their company has had some success to call themselves an entrepreneur. Or a lot of coaches may wait until they have, hundreds of clients who then say, I'm a coach, and feel that's, validated and legitimate. But as you said, you are what you want to become as soon as you take the first step to do that. And that's, I think, the biggest lesson I've had over the last few years is knowledge is not power. Action is power. Yes. And once we take action and we go out and we do something and we expose ourselves and we're okay if, we fail, that's where
The knowledge comes.
Yeah. That's where the knowledge comes. Exactly. Okay, this was great. Thank you. Here with Benis Reffkin, my friend, and very wise and incredible life executive and career coach, who joined me for this conversation to talk about how we should demystify, the belief that there are certain common traits that people have to be successful as an entrepreneur, and to show that it doesn't matter who you are, but what you do with what you have. And she shared the very incredible 8 values from Kertesz, the company that her husband founded and is the CEO. And she has, served this role, I guess, of an incredible sounding board and mentor and coach and advisor. And this was an extremely insightful conversation. Thank you. I hope you go out and live it.